All right, everybody, peace. Welcome to the Sorry to Bother You show, wherever or however you're listening. We are so grateful to have you here with us. I'm joined today by my co-host, Mr. Dre Pennington.
Hey, we back. What's good, y'all? How we doing? How you feeling? How we doing?
Dre, how you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm good. A little devastated, and I feel like we got robbed of some great like matchups in the future. But we'll get to that.
The Battle of LA will have to wait another year, man.
No. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. But Dre, we've actually got a lot in store today for the show. Like you said, we're going to talk about the Clippers' loss to the Denver Nuggets in the second round of the playoffs. We're going to be talking about the conference finals previews with the Lakers and Denver, along with Boston and Miami. We're going to also talk about the All-NBA selection that came out a couple of days ago. I know you have a lot to say about that. And college football is back. We're going to talk about some predictions for the upcoming games this week. We're going to be talking about the Big Ten and its plan to return to football soon.
So shocked.
And the NFL is back as well. A lot of football going on around today or this week. We're going to give our predictions for some key matchups for next week. And we'll also be talking about some college basketball for a little bit. So, Dre, are you excited to have sports back, man?
Bro, it's always good to have sports back, and it makes me happy, especially, these are things we grew up on, but it's like, dude, we're in the middle of a pandemic, but I'm shocked. I'm more shocked than anything that any of these sports are back. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm happy to watch them now.
Yeah. Seems like they're using this to, change our thought process and
Our perspective and everything.
Perspective and focus. Exactly.
Got put the hat on.
Exactly. But with that being said, man, let's dive into it. Let's start into it. As you guys know, the Clippers were the heavy preseason favorites to not only get out of the Western Conference, but win the NBA championship this season. But as you know, they blew a 10-point lead in Game 7 and ended up losing to the Denver Nuggets while also blowing a 3-1 lead, though Kawhi Leonard averaged 30 points in the playoffs. His running mate, Paul George, constantly did not show up throughout the course of the playoffs. And some people also talked about Doc Rivers' inability when it came to coaching and schematics. But with that being said, Dre, I know you want to talk about Denver a little bit. So why don't you tell us what you saw in Denver and what you saw in that series in general?
Okay, so with Denver especially, a young, hungry team that seemed they were fearless, dude. Like that is a fearless team. And then on top of that, they weren't starstruck. They felt like they should have been there and very confident. Also, they got a lot of what you like. So like they're long at the wing position. They also have a big that's that can be very dominant, and they have a point guard that's dynamic.
Yeah.
Shows flashes of, in my opinion, I've heard it from other people, but in my opinion, I've heard like a young, like a Gilbert Arenas type, shows flashes of Gilbert a little bit.
Okay.
And can just light you up for 40, maybe even 50, as we've seen it before.
Yeah.
And then like the one thing that I could tell you right now before we even get into it, any analytics or anything, the Clippers bench did not show up as well. I thought Lou Williams would have a way bigger impact in the series.
Yeah.
And he's not been the same. He hasn't been the same player at all either.
Yeah. So do you think this was more bad Clippers or more good Denver?
I think it plays a little bit of both, because you don't go down 3-1 without the team really being that good, and you don't come back from 3-1 at all, 3-1 without a team like giving up on I would say kind of not feeling the same and kind of just like giving up something.
Yeah.
So So I think the Clippers. I don't think the Clippers made an adjustment for the Nuggets at all, honestly, and the Nuggets made all the adjustments that they needed to. So
Okay.
shout out to their coach for making adjustments for their team, especially since they had multiple halftime comebacks.
Yeah, their last three wins were all after double digit deficits.
So that's obviously a coaching that to me that's a player that's a basketball IQ player recognition, and then a huge part of like your coaching and culture.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of culture, Dre, so you see how Denver, they have a culture of accountability and doing things the right way and knowing how to play through adversity. Mike Malone has instilled that into his guys over the past 5 years. What would you say the culture is in Los Angeles with the Clippers?
Man, I would I would think it would be championship or bust with how they were going. And then like before the year, it was what we got nothing but a bunch of dogs, like dudes who are hungry, from the Lou Wills to the Trezes who are just not. I'm sorry, the Pat Bevs to the Trezes. Like Pat Bev wasn't supposed to be in the league, and he fought his way back in. Montrezl Harrell fighting like he's fighting every day. He's fighting for every rebound, fighting for like scrap.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lou Wills, uh, like I don't know, like it's weird. Uh, I thought I didn't think that they would go out like that,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that they went out on like it was like a what 15 to 20 point loss
Yeah,
in games,
20 points.
and it was like a 30 point swing. Like they were up by double digits and lost
Yeah,
like multiple times in those games. I'm like, dude, what?
right.
You guys don't even want to. You got like it halfway looked like they were just going through the motions in most times.
I'd agree with that 100%. And I'm glad that that you talked about Denver, Dre, because everything you said, I agree with when it comes to Denver, their accountability. I like the comparison you made with Jamal Murray, compare him to Gilbert Arenas, because earlier in his career, I thought he played more like Klay Thompson, but he's added his ability to put the ball on the floor and score off the dribble, which I think sets him apart from Klay Thompson now. I still think Klay Thompson's better, but now his game is more comparable to Gilbert Arenas, like you said. Jokic is maybe a top three big man in the league right now, just the way he's playing right now.
Three.
You think he's what do you think? He's top two?
Look, I always thought Joel was one, but the way I guess Jokic is playing right now, he might be one. The way he's playing, it's crazy.
Would you consider AD a big man? Because I think that's what the question really comes down to.
I still put AD at the four, honestly.
Okay. Okay. If that's the case, then I would
Yeah.
say Jokic is top two then.
Okay.
But but getting back to the Clippers, right? And I asked you about what's their identity? What are they known for? We know what Denver's known for with their accountability, their structure. But it seems like the Clippers don't have that same accountability factor because, like you're talking about, they blew multiple double-digit leads in that series. Now, not just in Denver, but also going back to the Dallas series, they blew a couple leads
Yeah.
as well. I think there's two things I want to tackle with this. First, I want to tackle the coaching aspect. So I don't want people to misconstrue this. Doc Rivers is a good coach. You have to be a good coach to be in the league. I think that if he's not coaching that Boston team, I'm not sure if they win the championship going back to '08. So
Yeah.
I think he was very integral when it came to that championship team. But I think we have to look at Doc Rivers' coaching career objectively and no longer subjectively. We said that he has one championship ring in Boston, and granted, he had three Hall of Famers, first ballot Hall of Famers on that roster. He blew a 3-2 lead in the NBA Finals to a Lakers team.
Yeah, he did do that.
He hasn't gotten to the conference finals since 2012, where they blew a 3-2 lead to Miami, in Boston. And And he's blown 3-1 leads in his 7 years with the Clippers, and has yet to make it past the second round with what we can say is a franchise that has multiple talented teams over the course of those 7 years. And he's the only coach to blow multiple 3-1 leads. And I think we just had to start looking at his career with some objectivity and say to ourselves, is Doc Rivers as good as a coach as we think he is? I think because we think of Doc as this basketball savant that has changed the way the game is being played. I don't think that's what it is. I think Doc has been the recipient of a lot of talented players, and he's done what any substantial coach should do, and that's make them a great team if you have talented players. And we talked about before, Dre, how there's it's a tier system when it comes to coaches. There's some coaches that can get you to that hump, but they can't get you over the hump. And I think Doc is just one of those coaches that he can get you to the hump, but he can't get you over. Now, I know they already decided to keep Doc on contract for the upcoming season, but if I was Steve Ballmer, I would consider looking into a possible coaching change for this next season. Just because the like you just said, the Clippers are built for championship or bust. So how many years do they really have to play with, Dre, when it comes to, trying to win this championship?
I mean, but if we're gonna realistically, I've always heard that with like stuff like that, you gotta like a 4-year, 5-year window. Well, counting this year, that's 5-year window.
Mm-hmm.
But for them, it's really like 3 years, because I don't know if you're gonna keep losing. I don't think Kawhi is gonna stay there, and I don't think playoff P is gonna be there either.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So then, like I get what you're saying. Like, it's like that's on them, that team. Actually, let me take it back. That's on Doc that's kind of on Doc because it's like his fault too. But if we're gonna be holding people accountable, Doc ain't the one out there that's shooting them jumpers off the side of the backboard.
Yeah.
Doc ain't the one that's shooting like their top 3 scorers shooting what, 20 under 30%.
Yeah, the Kawhi and PG, they're combined for what, 10 for 27 or 10 for 30, something like that last game, right?
Yeah, like that's not Doc out there doing that.
Yeah.
But it is him that's got to put those guys in the right position and set them up for a play for them to make a run. And I said, I was like, I don't understand. So when I was like watching the game, I would think you remember me saying this. I was like, I don't understand why, if I'm Doc, if Paul George isn't doing that well offensively, he is a 6'10" wing defender. Put him on the guy that's just kind of killing you.
Yeah.
And just let him not just you're not gonna stop him necessarily. Let him rock out and be like, okay, put him on there and at least slow him down to where it gets to the end of the game, to where now he's got to deal with Kawhi and it's going to be even tougher.
Exactly. And that's when it comes down to making those in-game adjustments, and which is why I was saying I'm not sure if Doc is the right coach for that. I don't know if he's able to make those in-game adjustments, and I don't know if he's able to keep those players accountable, man, because I just don't see a great coach allowing his team to blow multiple double-digit leads in the same series. I just don't see that happening. But like you said, Doc doesn't deserve all the blame in this. I saw something interesting, though, Dre, and I think you might have seen this too. Because you're a great basketball player and you're a leader on your team. When the leader is vocal and when the leader is playing well, the supporting cast tends to follow suit. Whatever type of energy the leader of that team is giving out, that's how the supporting cast is going to follow. If you notice, Jamal Murray was very energetic and he was playing well, and so was Jokic. So the supporting cast with Denver followed that, right? And now with Kawhi, him being the leader of the Clippers, even when Kawhi plays well, it still seems like the supporting class with the Clippers aren't playing well, because it doesn't seem they're still matching the energy of Kawhi. And Kawhi's very stoic. He doesn't talk much. but he still produces. So it seems like the Clippers aren't very energetic because they're still following suit of Kawhi, who's the leader when it comes to that energy. So it just seems like they never really can get things going quickly. They can't really click. You know what I mean? When it comes to that energy.
Yeah.
And like you said, PG, there's no way around it. He just has to play better. You're getting paid almost 100 mil to what shoot the ball off the side of the backboard. No, we need more out of that, or they need more out of that. I'm sorry.
And then it goes like it's all credit to like I get that I feel bad that he's going through something and this is rock bottom because he couldn't have played worse at a worse time.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for him because like now it's like slander and anything else. But like, dude, when you sign that $100 million check, you know what's coming with it. Like I said, man, I'm sorry. Huh?
All those draft picks that they gave up to get him.
Yeah. And then the thing is, I don't know what it is. What team was Kawhi really like the leader on? If you really want to be honest.
That's not his role though. I guess really what it comes down to, because in Toronto you could say Kyle Lowry was that vocal leader, that energetic.
He was leader on that team.
Yeah,
and then to me, I think Lou Will or Pat Bev got like they're actually Lou Will, Pat Bev, or Montrezl Harrell is your leaders, are your leaders, because they're the guys who are the dogs of your team. They got to be the guys who got like, all right, we got to push, like we got to step up. And Lou Will to me didn't play well the whole bubble like series. Pat Bev is gonna be Pat Bev. Like you know what you're getting from him. And Trez, did he look a little off to you? Actually, he had a handful with Joker, and I gave him that for like trying to guard him, and so was Zubac because that dude was playing out of this world, by the way.
Yeah. Speaking about Montrez, I know Montrez missed a lot of the seeding games because he was dealing with the family issue, and he never really just got into a rhythm because he missed so many of the games prior to the playoffs. Yeah. So I won't fault him on that. But even with all that, Dre, it will be interesting to see how the Clippers react to this moment moving forward going into next season. But knowing that Denver has advanced to the Western Conference Finals, they're going to be matched up with LA for the Conference Finals.
Pick.
Dre, you already know, man. I got to hear your prediction, man. Who you got for this?
So it's kind of weird. I know it's like people. I swear to God, guys, I'm not a LeBron fan. I don't know why. If anyone notices, the Lakers have given up the first game of every like series this year.
Mm-hmm.
They gave one up to who was it? Yeah, they gave one up to Portland. They gave one up to the Rockets. Hey, man, I might have to take the Nuggets this first game because it just seems like a trend.
Yeah.
So I can see the Nuggets winning this one.
Okay. Who do you have for the series?
All right. So for the series, I have the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
For the game, I'm gonna say that tonight. Okay. For the game tonight, I'm gonna say the Nuggets because it's been a trend that the Lakers like to lose the first game. Like they lose the first game.
Yeah.
They've done it. Did it with Portland. They did it with who was it? Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did it with Houston also. And I don't know why it's just like that. I guess it's like one of those things where like they got to see what adjustments they need to make. They're going in with a game plan and seeing like if their game plan is going to work out, and then like adjust for the rest of it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many games this series will take, but I don't want to count out the 1-3 Nuggets who have been just making miracle comebacks. That's amazing. 2-3-1 comebacks in a row. It's amazing.
That's never happened. Never happened before.
Yeah. What about you? What are you thinking?
I've got the Lakers in 5, and I think the Lakers are going to win tonight. But I think it'll be close. I think I got the Lakers by 6 tonight. But I have the Lakers winning in 5 for the series. Dre, I don't think this series is going to be particularly close due to the matchup problems that the Lakers
Yeah.
caused for Denver. I think the reason Denver was successful against the Clippers is because of their size, the size advantage they had. I don't see that. I see the Lakers having a size advantage against Denver. If you notice against Houston, they couldn't use their bigs in McGee and Dwight Howard because they were a liability offensively and defensively against Houston. I think
Yeah.
they'll be more efficient and effective going up against a Denver team that's a little bigger, a little slower than Houston, and I think they'll be able to use them then, put those guys on the court and allow them to wreak havoc defensively on the court, on the defensive end. And I think that by having multiple bigs, you can throw multiple bodies at Jokic and tire him out, and that way he's not as efficient on the offensive end, which now causes Jamal Murray to have to do more work. And now they can double on Murray or even double on Jokic, and now neither of those guys can be as effective. I think AD is going to be the key to this series, though, offensively for the Lakers, because as you know, LeBron's in his 17th year in the league, and LeBron, I see Denver trying to double LeBron, especially going
Yeah.
off the high pick and roll or when he isolates at the top of the key. And I think if AD is able to stretch the floor and put the ball on the floor and attack the rim as he's been doing so far in these playoffs, I think that opens the offense up for the Lakers and it makes them more dynamic. I think Danny Green is going to reemerge out of his slump and get back to his shooting way, get out of his shooting woes and become more efficient shooting. And I think Rondo has not gotten enough credit in these playoffs. Rondo, in my opinion, is the third most important player on this Lakers team. But that's just
Oh
me.
wow.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
The Rondo part is that's a big one. Playoff Rondo. He does have a nickname for it.
Exactly.
Um,
Go ahead.
I thought Kuz would come in and step in as a third option, but I think their third option is just anyone that really steps up for them.
Anyone, right?
Yeah, because you really get so much, man. You get so much from AD and LeBron,
Mm-hmm.
dude. That I guess that's a dynamic duo.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So you have Lakers in 6, you said?
I might have Lakers if unless Denver does something crazy. I'm gonna have Lakers, and I'm gonna say 6.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's unless Denver like does something just miraculous and be like, all right, we're gonna go this that 1-3 like mentality now, like win or go home type of thing.
Okay. Uh, I got Lakers in 5, but it should be a close. It won't be a close series in my opinion. You see it. You have it being a little closer, but both of us had the
Yeah,
Lakers
I think most games are gonna be under 10 points
under 10.
or under. Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting. But both of us had the Lakers get into the NBA Finals, and but who are they going to go up against, Dre? So
oh
we got to go into our Eastern Conference matchup, right? Of
yeah.
Boston and Miami. Dre, I'll start with this one because you already know my preseason pick out of the East,
Oh, you
Toronto,
did.
is no
Yeah.
longer in the playoffs. So I have to go with who I had them going up against in the conference finals in Boston. I'll start with them. I think Boston is more experienced than Miami. I think
Yeah.
that the problems that Miami gave Milwaukee, they're not going to be able to give those same problems to Boston because of their depth, their shooting ability, and you can't double Tatum or Brown the same way you can double Giannis, because if you double Brown or Tatum, you're leaving the other guy open on a one-on-one matchup. And all not to mention, you still have Kemba Walker, who's a top 5 point guard in the NBA. You still have Marcus Smart, who's, in my opinion, should have been Defensive Player of the Year, but that's neither here nor there. And you have a lot of talent and depth on that Boston roster, which I think can match up with Miami. And I think they have a level of grit that people aren't talking about.
Oh,
And
definitely.
right when it comes to coaching, I think Brad Stevens matches up well with Eric Spoelstra. Now I think Eric Spoelstra uh is a better schematics coach and maybe a better culture creator when it comes to coaching. But I do think Brad Stevens is better at making in-game adjustments, especially like baseline out of bounds, silent out of bounds, quick actions. So I think that would be an interesting matchup to see when it comes to coaching. Uh, I have I have this being a close series, but I do have Boston in 7. What you got?
All right. So me, I have the Heat winning, and I'm gonna say 6. I'm gonna be generous with Boston and say 6. I can't say 5 because that's crazy. I'm gonna say 6.
Okay.
Um, because Jimmy Butler is playing out of not just Jimmy Butler. That team is playing out of this world right now. Like they're killing it.
Yeah.
I think Eric Spoelstra should get a lot of credit. And Pat Riley, man, just created a culture of winning
Yeah.
and a culture that sticks to the plan. Like they stick to their role, they stick to their plan, and they stick to they stick to their culture. That's just them.
Yeah.
Um, and I think Jimmy Butler is playing great right now. But
Yeah.
not just him, but also Bam Adebayo. Like Bam looks like a legit superstar. Well, not superstar. Let me take it back. Bam looks like a legit all-star. Like right now,
Right.
he's earning his all-star appearance. They have a lot of shooting.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a great bigs in my opinion. They have a lot of stretch fives.
Yeah.
No one who's just like kind of clogging the paint and just like getting a bunch of blocks other than just Bam.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of guys who are gritty and who are just like we said, who are dogs, like they are like, kind of chip on their shoulder play. In my opinion, they think they deserve more than what they got right now.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that. It's just like that it just keeps a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you that this Heat team, they look a little special. I don't know if special enough to win a championship,
Mm-hmm.
but I think special enough to go to the finals this year.
Can you see Miami being a threat in the East for years to come? Say even 5 years from now, 5 years down the road.
Um, but by how they have their team set up, a lot of people are young. Their core guys are young. All star and Bam, probably a future all star and a couple other guys. And then if you think about it, they had a rookie point guard running the point for them this year.
Kendrick Nunn.
Um, yeah, Kendrick Nunn was a rookie this year. Um, Tyler Hero came off the bench. He averaged, I think, about 14 or so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Duncan Robinson, who is an undrafted guy who came in and just wasn't expecting anything and is now like, is he starting? I want to say.
No, he's not starting. He comes off the bench.
He comes on the bench.
Yeah.
They have some of everything that you really really like. Great shooting, great depth. Um, what did I talk about though with vets? They have great vets.
Yep. Leadership. Mm-hmm.
They got leadership on their team, and they have a top organization. Like they have the top organization head, which is Pat Riley. Like they are great.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And speaking about Kendrick Nunn was an All NBA rookie. He was on the first team All rookie
Yeah,
selection.
he finished second in rookie voting for rookie of the year.
Yeah, yeah. So, like you said, a lot of depth, a lot of talent, a good mix of youth and veteran leadership to go along with the culture. It'll be interesting to see how Miami performs, not just in this series, but like you said, for years to come. Either way, it's going to be a great series to watch, though. But speaking of all NBA selections, Dre, as you know,
Yep.
the teams for all NBA first, second, and third came out a couple of days ago. And just for those of you who don't know, I'll read them off for you. So all NBA first team, we have LeBron and Giannis, who were unanimous selections. We have James Harden. We have Anthony Davis, and a surprise to some people, we also have Luka Doncic.
Ooh,
Round
second year.
out second year, right, to round out that first team. For the second team, we have Kawhi Leonard, Nikola Jokic, Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, and Pascal Siakam. Another interesting pick. And for our third team, we have Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Rudy Gobert, Ben Simmons, and Russell Westbrook. Dre, what stood out to you from these picks?
Off rip, I didn't hear who we say is one of the best bigs in the league, which is Joel Embiid. How do we not have Joel Embiid in? Like, what?
Okay.
Granted, he was probably out of shape for the year. Hurt, I think for a little bit. I'm pretty sure he missed some games. But I think his numbers were the same as they were for the past couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and before that's all NBA. So I don't understand that. Another one would be there. You can make a strong argument for Tatum and Siakam to switch
Okay.
because like Tatum versus Siakam, man. Hey, Tatum's been doing his thing the whole year. Siakam has been doing good, but I like Jason Tatum's game a little bit more than Siakam's.
Yeah. I think
I
the
ain't gonna lie.
argument I think the argument you can make, Dre, is that Pascal's team had the better record, which could have played a factor in that.
Yeah, but this is an individual. It's an individual award.
It's a good point.
This is like that individual award should play like winning should be a factor in this. Like you want to win.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
I disagree, Dre. I think that Pascal should have made NBA. I think he was right where he needs to be on the All NBA second team. But the only reason I say that is because I think his jump, his leap in development, I think was bigger than that of Tatum's. Now Tatum was already a great player, and so was Pascal. But I think the development in this past year is more prominent in Pascal because Pascal had more room to grow as opposed to Tatum, who was already a great player. But I think Tatum is right where he needs to be when it comes to that third team. I would make two adjustments maybe. I would Ben Simmons was deserving of all NBA defensive first team. I will say that. But I don't think he was deserving of all NBA third team because of Philly's struggles over the course of the year and their inconsistency. And I would switch out Ben Simmons and put in Chris Middleton, who I think doesn't get enough credit.
Wow.
I think, in my opinion, Chris Middleton is a top 15 player in the league. Even when everybody's healthy, when you throw in Steph and Clay and KD and Kyrie, I think Chris Middleton is a top 15 player in the league. Just by the way he plays, he's very efficient. He gets to his spots well. And he's also a disruptor on the defensive end. And if we're just comparing Ben Simmons to Chris Middleton right now, obviously Chris Middleton is the better offensive player just because he's more dynamic. I think long-term, sure, Ben Simmons might have a better career because he's younger and he probably has more potential and a higher growth rate. But I think right now, Chris Middleton's a better player. If you're asking me, I'd rather have Chris Middleton than Ben Simmons at this point in their careers. And I would take out Russell Westbrook from that third team. I just don't – if we're looking at the numbers, Westbrook was very efficient in his style of play. It was conducive for Lake Houston ran their offense. But I don't think that I just don't think Russell Westbrook had an All-NBA third-team season. And
that's actually, I can see that.
Yeah.
My bad. Keep going. You got it.
But yeah, I don't. But I think Westbrook's a great player. I just don't think he was deserving of all NBA third team this particular season.
Okay, so what do you think he could have done better than? Because in my opinion, Bill, I would think that Bill would be on there. He's second in scoring this year, if
Yes.
I'm not wrong. Second in scoring. Okay, so what could he have done? What could Westbrook have done better to really impress you?
Well, Westbrook needs to show me his ability to develop his skill set and not rely on his athleticism. Because in my
Okay.
opinion, Russell Westbrook is the most athletic player of all time. The most athletic not player, but the most athletic point guard. I'm sorry.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. And I'm only saying this because I know how great Westbrook can be. Westbrook has so much potential. And I think he's only got 2 or 3 more years to really cap out at his prime. And I just needed to, I would love to see him develop a skill set before he gets out of his prime.
Okay.
And I think.
All right. And then I was going to say, since Brad Beal was on there, do you only think that he should have overtook Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons shouldn't have been on there at all?
If you're asking me how I do it, the first and second team I think are perfect. I would change the third team. I would take out Ben Simmons, put in Chris Middleton, take out Westbrook, and put in Bradley Beal. But I think Bradley Beal didn't get in because of Washington's record.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100% I agree with that.
Right. But there's just so much talent in the league right now, Dre. It's amazing. It's beautiful to see, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're actually going to take a break from basketball, Dre, for the first time in like 5 months. And
it's been a while. Yeah.
A long time. And we're going to talk about some football, man. Some football. Crazy, right?
It's so weird to hear that right now. Yeah, I'm not lying. To hear
it's almost surreal to say, you know what I mean? But Dre, the Big Ten has recently announced that they will be having a season starting in October, due to some pushback from, yes, you got it right there. Yeah, the dollar signs, the money, man. Dre, well, let's just talk about this for about 5 minutes. How do you feel about Big Ten football being back in October?
Like I said, I feel happy for the guys that are getting that chance to play, because it's like it's your senior year, like you want to play and everything, but at the same time, you guys didn't actually want to start the season because of you. They really got pressured in from donors and everything else, like because they want people to play.
Right.
That's the money is the only reason why there's playing right now.
I agree with that 100%. And, you know, Dre, people will say that the players from Ohio State and other top-tier schools in the Big Ten really push for there to be a season to their petitions, and they're being vocal about the whole situation. But I think it's more about what you said. It's just money, man. The Big Ten and those schools in the Big Ten would lose entirely too much money if there was no football season.
Yeah.
And not only that, but those schools generate a lot of money for those states as well, for those states that they're located in. Yeah, and too much money is involved for there to be no football in the Big Ten. And not to mention the Big Ten is a Power 5 conference, which is good for the NCAA. I think that if there's no Big Ten, it's hard to justify any sort of college football playoff. You know what I mean? So I think the Big Ten is good for football, good for business, for the student athletes. It's good for them if they want to. For those that want to, play, they can. They want to sit out, they can. I think it's a good decision all around. But like you said, Dre, follow the money. It's all about the money, man. All about the money. But we actually, Dre, have a top 25 matchup in the second week of college football.
Oh,
right.
Telling you, this is surreal. This is one of those where it's just like, I never thought I'd hear this for a while.
Bro, it's weird. I love it, though. I love it. We have 17 That's the ACC matchup. We have number 17 Miami going up against Louisville. As you
Ooh,
know, Miami has their transfer quarterback from Houston, Derek King, playing now. He sat out last year due to the transfer protocol, and he's pretty dynamic. Dre, I would consider him a dual threat quarterback. But even with that, Miami had quarterback woes last season, pretty inconsistent in that position last year. But they still rely heavily on the run game.
yeah.
They still rely on Cameron Harris, Jalen Knighton, and Donald Chaney. And though Harris is the lead guy in that group, I think that they had to be more dynamic with their play calling. And the only way they can do that is if Derek King, is more efficient, or he is efficient with his throwing and his accuracy. And I think they can do that against a Louisville team that has not been good defensively for the past couple of seasons. I would say the past 5 or 6 years. Right. But the good thing that Louisville has is they do have a good interior defensively. Their secondary is pretty weak. But offensively, Louisville last week against Western Kentucky, they had 4 plays of 40-plus yards, which shows you right, very explosive. They have a great receiving core. And Miami still struggles on the defensive end as well in their secondary. So it's going to be interesting to see how Louisville attacks that secondary of Miami. I see this being a shootout, Dre. I don't see there being much defense, just due to the lack of preparation going into the season and the way these two teams play. The spread is Louisville by 2.5, and right. So I'm gonna take that spread. Actually, I have Louisville winning by a score of 38-34.
38-34.
Yeah.
I'm shooting this game to be in the 40s. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
40s. Wow. Okay, we're talking.
I don't see a single lick of defense being played.
Okay. I'd agree.
I'm gonna say 42. Actually no, 45-40. I'm gonna go there. I think what's the name? But I'm gonna go with Louisville's explosiveness. I like how it looks, even though Miami has a dual threat quarterback, and Miami has a couple prospects that I think are going to be good in the NFL. But I think Louisville's going to pull this one out.
Okay. Wow. 40s. Wow. Okay.
Hey, 40.
Welcome back to college football, man.
They got 90s 90s basketball scores.
You might just upset some of our older fans, man.
My bad, man. I'm sorry. I promise.
But we'll leave that right there, man. We'll transition from college football to NFL.
All right, let's look. Let's hear.
Wow, crazy. More football, right? Dre, let's start with your boy TB12.
Oh, don't do that. The GOAT? I ain't gonna speak the GOAT.
The GOAT Brady. Him and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are gonna be hosting Carolina this Sunday. Dre, the spread right now is Tampa Bay by 9, but talk to me, man. What are you looking at? What are you seeing right now?
So probably the most I would think it would be the most explosive offense with a great quarterback, great receivers, great line, great they have everything that you could check off on an offensive side of the ball. They have,
Yeah.
And I just don't see this game being close. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't see it being close.
Really?
I think Carolina's not. I don't think Carolina's good at all. Even though they have Christian McCaffrey and is Luke Kuechly still playing right now?
Mm-mm.
Oh no, yeah, no. I just see McCaffrey's.
I'm sorry, he is. He is. I think he is. Sorry.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay, so I still just seeing I seeing Tampa Bay doing really good and just kind of being like, I think last week was their week to be like like to get shocked by the Saints, who are also not slouches and are very good. Like, come on, guys, the Saints. You haven't seen a bad Saints team in some years.
Yeah, people forget that New Orleans, in my opinion, has the best defense in the NFC.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, yeah. So Dre, what's the score? Man, you got a score for me?
I'm gonna go. They're playing against the Panthers. Panthers is very run heavy. Quarterback is not very existent, I would say. So I'm gonna go. Let's go 28. I'm gonna go 28-13.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not giving the Panthers a chance.
Wow. You just got you. You
I'm
just
going big bold. I'm going bold tonight.
very bold with your predictions. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Dre, I think the key to this game is going to be the Tampa Bay's defense. And I do think they have a great defense, particularly with their interior. We know Tommy Sue, Vita Vey, William Goldson.
Yeah.
They have a linebacking core, Shaquille Barrett, Levante David, Devin White, and JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul. I think that front seven is going to be key for Tampa Bay's defense to be effective. I think that's going to cancel out the run game of Christian McCaffrey and Teddy Bridgewater, and I think that's going to take away from the tight ends of Carolina as well.
Yeah.
The tight ends for Carolina were pretty much non-existent last week against the Raiders. And I didn't like how Carolina struggled offensively against the Raiders. But I will say that the Tampa Bay's secondary, it can be susceptible to the deep ball. So maybe if they get the play action going, possibly, or the O line for Carolina is able to hold the pocket long enough for Teddy Bridgewater to pick apart downfield Tampa Bay's defense, that could keep them in the game for a little while. But I do think that this game will not be particularly close. I do think that Tampa Bay is going to cover the spread. I had Tampa Bay by a score of 34 to 21, but I do think that if Carolina can take away the short pass of Tampa Bay, because we know that Tom Brady likes to
5 yards.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
5 yards, 10 yards.
yeah, like to dink and dunk the ball. And last week against the Raiders, Carolina gave up 20 passes of 20 underneath passes from Derek Carr. So I think that if Carolina can, attack that, then I think that, or can take that away, I think that can slow down Tampa Bay's offense slightly. But like you said, Tampa Bay's offense is just way too explosive. I see it being close to, at halftime, but I see it towards the end of the third that Tampa Bay is just going to pull away. And like I said, Tampa Bay, I see it winning this game by a score of 34-21.
Oh, okay. You're not that far off from me.
Not too far, but
you got more scoring, yeah.
Yeah. I think that Tampa Bay is still getting defensively. They are talented, but I think they're still getting their stuff together.
Yeah, they're getting used to each other.
Yeah, but Dre, another great matchup. We have two of the top three quarterbacks in the league in this matchup right here, with Baltimore and Houston. Yeah.
All right.
What you got?
I'm giving Baltimore because I don't believe in Houston's defense.
Okay.
They just got hung, what was it, 24-7 last week, a couple weeks ago or last week?
It was
they played the Chiefs.
I think it was a little more than that. They had 14, I think. They had 14.
What was it, 27 to 14?
Something like that.
Okay. And they're going against an we can't give that team enough for an explosion. An explosive Baltimore team who I think might be the number one offense in the league.
Ahead of Kansas City.
I think so. Yeah, I think they are a little bit. Just that. Honestly, it can be like they're interchangeable, but that team is explosive.
Yeah.
So that against a bad defensive team, yeah, I'm not taking that. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go. And the Ravens defense is actually pretty good, so I'm definitely taking the Ravens in this one. I'm gonna go 28 to 28-20, and it's only because I love uh, Houston's quarterback so much.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I like Deshaun Watson a lot.
Okay, so you have Baltimore winning 28-20.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. So you have Baltimore covering the spread then. The spread is -7.
Yeah, no, I got it. I got him.
Okay. Dre, like you said, Baltimore has one of the most dynamic offenses in the league. They have a possible MVP candidate in Lamar Jackson. They have a great run game still, an amazing defense. I want to talk about Houston for a little bit. You touched on
Okay.
it, Deshaun Watson. Now, this offense is built to be explosive and to be able to score the ball proficiently because of, like you said, their lack of defensive prowess. They're not very good defensively. So, Bill O'Brien has built this offense to be able to win shootouts, go into games like Kansas City and like Baltimore and top tier teams and just outscore them. Forget the defense. We're just going to outscore you. But it worries me that they were not able to score the ball well against a Kansas City team that is good defensively, but not a top tier defensive team. So I'm worried about that. And it still comes down to the offensive line and the inability to protect Deshaun Watson consistently. If they don't get some protection for Deshaun, man, his career is going to be over in at least 6 years, man. I'm telling you right now. But I will say that I think that that's just because it's a lack of a preseason, and a lot of these teams look a little rusty, and they look inconsistent, and they look a little sluggish, like they're still getting their playing wind into them. And I think the offense is going to be a little bit more effective today or this weekend against Baltimore. Like you said, the defense of Baltimore is still pretty stout. But I do see this being a close game. I don't have Baltimore covering the spread, but I do have Baltimore winning by a score of 28-24. I see this game not being close at halftime. I see Baltimore jumping out to an early lead, but I see Houston making a run in the fourth quarter. But by that time, being a case of too little, too late. I will say this though, I have Lamar Jackson going for over 300 yards in the passing game.
Oh my God!
I will say that right now. Yeah.
Well, I don't think in general, I don't think Houston's defense is that good, and I don't like. I'm sorry, I don't think I don't think their coach is that good. Honestly, was it Bill O'Brien?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's that good either. But Deshaun keeps them in games, and he makes them look great. But man, I feel bad for Deshaun because his O line is terrible.
Yeah.
And he hits the ground a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. But it'll be interesting to see how Houston is able to protect Deshaun in that game. It's going to be a good quarterback matchup for sure. But
Yeah.
Dre, we have another pretty interesting quarterback matchup up in Seattle with New England and
Oh
Seattle.
wow.
I'll let you know the spread right now. The spread is right now Seattle by 4.5.
Yeah.
Dre, what are your what are your thoughts on this game right here, man?
Oh, I'm going with Seattle by touchdown. I think they're gonna keep it close. Everyone knows that the like with the Patriots, like it's the Patriot way. Now they got Cam, and then on top of that, they have in my opinion, the greatest coach of all time, the greatest football coach of all time.
Okay.
So I don't know. Like I don't see them winning, but I see them keeping it close because they're so run heavy dependent, and they run a lot of schemes. So I think they're going to be ready for Russell Wilson also, and they don't give up. They don't give up a lot of big plays either.
You're right. They don't. They're
Yeah.
they're
very disciplined
very
and stay sound.
Absolutely. Wow.
But
So what's your score again?
I'm gonna have Seattle winning, but I think it's gonna be lower than what. Like I'm giving my score, but I think it's gonna be lower. I'm gonna go 20, probably. It's gonna be close. I think it's 2017, but I can see it being even lower than that.
Oh wow. Okay. So you see this being a slugfest?
Yeah, I think so. I just see I forgot the coach of the Patriots name.
Belichick. Belichick.
Yeah, I just see Belichick running a scheme and just making it super difficult for them to do anything.
Okay, I can see that. Dre, I'm just go right quick and tell you my score. I see this being 27-10, Seattle. I just don't see this game being close. Now, if we look how New England fared against Miami, they fared pretty well, but Miami's not a very good defensive team.
They're not good at all.
Cam rushed the ball 15 times, and he was fairly accurate in the passing game. But see the reason Cam was accurate in the passing game is because he opened it up with the run game, right? With his run game. Now the interior in Seattle, I think is very not dominant, but like you said, they're disciplined and they filled the holes pretty well. And I think they're going to be able to slow down Sonny Michel and Cam Newton in that run game enough to cancel them out, right? And so if you force New England to throw the ball against the Seattle defense, I just don't see that faring well because of their secondary, with Jamal Adams and Dunbar and Quandre Diggs, players like that who are pretty aggressive as it is in the secondary. I see them getting to Cam and like forcing him to misread zone coverages and try to fit it in areas that it won't be able to fit, and him turn the ball over. I have New England turn the ball over 3 times in this game. And like you said, I just don't see this game being close because of Seattle's defense. And Jamal Adams he could make a case for being Defensive Player of the Year this year. That's just in my opinion. I already think he's the best safety in the league. But this game won't be close. In Seattle's offense, Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, I think it just kind of speaks for itself. I think the defense will do enough to allow the offense to get into a rhythm for Seattle, and I just don't see this game being close, man. 27.
I'll say, dude. So once they kind of shut down that run game, do you think that do you believe? Okay, do you truly believe in Cam's arm and his accuracy?
Not yet, because not having a training camp or preseason is going to hurt a lot of these teams. And a lot of these teams aren't going to be able to get into a rhythm until too late during the year. And I think New England's one of these teams where you kind of have to change the entire scheme and offense to fit around this new quarterback. Now, don't get me wrong, Cam's a great quarterback, but I just don't think he's going to be effective this game against Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah. But we'll see. It's good to have football back. I think these are all going to be great games to watch. So, but Dre, we're going to close out real quick with some college basketball.
This is so
happy about that, man.
Because
real quick, we just got some quick news, Dre. And I'm gonna let you tackle this one. I won't even touch it. We just found out that NCAA has announced that D1 basketball is going to start on November 25th. Thoughts, real quick?
They did absolutely nothing different. All they did was push it back 10 days. One of the biggest things about D1 basketball is the fact that they have to fight with ratings for Division I football, and this was the perfect time to separate the two and give it more of a give like people more than things to watch and give it more of an audience.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the NCAA failed us, and just creating something. And also, it's not about the players. Let's stop making it like that.
Yeah.
It's legit about the money, and they need to put up the Kansas, the Dukes, the North Carolinas, and the what was the UCLA's to
Yeah.
like to because they're all money makers and they all make them the most money. But I'm happy for the guys that are getting a chance to play again. That's amazing. I'm happy for you guys. Like, man, that's like I'm happy for like I can't stress how happy I am for them because you don't know whose senior year it is, you don't know whose junior year it is, and you don't know who actually is going to be able to play the next year. So I want to say like I want them to take advantage of their opportunities.
Yeah. It's gonna be a blessing for those guys to get their season back for sure, Dre. Absolutely, I agree. Dre, that's all the news we have for today. Great to have all these sports back, man. It's
Man, it feels good.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good distraction from what's going on today in the world. I think some people need this. It's more therapeutic than anything else. But Dre, before we send off, do you have any shout outs you want to give?
Shout out to one of my best friends. His name is Monte. He is doing his own online business. Um, he's restarting, rebranding himself. Happy for him. Shout out my guy B Rimby. Got the hat on today. Go check out his hats. You see the logo right there. Brandon Rembrandt clothing. His line, you can find it on Instagram. It is amazing. All different types of t-shirts, all different types of things, man. It's good, great. You got any shout outs?
Shout out to the Nerdy in Many Ways YouTube channel. Shout out to the Tatiana Jasmine YouTube channel. And Dre, I just want to take the time to give a huge shout out to our support system, man.
Yeah, man.
I say it's a lot, but we can't do this without you guys. Our supporters on Patreon, our followers on Facebook and on YouTube and on Spotify. The fact that we have this platform to speak about life and sports and give our honest descriptions on everything that's unfiltered, it's really a blessing. And we just couldn't do this without you and without God, of course, and His Son Yeshua. But like, this is just such a blessing. Really, thank you guys so much. Like, this has grown tremendously over the course of this past year, and Drake can tell you that, man. Like, we never
Man.
be this big, but it's truly a blessing, and we have so much more room to grow, man. It's truly amazing. Yeah. But Dre, that's all we got for today, man. We'll be back again next week to talk some more sports, guys. But continue to stay safe, be vigilant, make smart decisions. And until next time, guys, peace.